Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about my holy grails for makeup when it comes to catering towards dry skin. So these are all products that I would say have done me such justice when my skin is at its peak of dryness. None of this is skincare. I can do a separate video on skincare and dry skin. I feel like I've done a lot of those in the past. Obviously, skincare changes, new products come out and things like that, but this is all specific to makeup. Alright, so I tried to not go too crazy with the amount of products that I picked. There's no eyeliners, no eyeshadows, none of that, no brow products, anything like that. It's only like face products and a couple lip products, and I'll explain why I chose those. But I wanted to keep it face oriented because you can have dry, oily combination skin for the most part. Eyeshadows are universal. So let's get started and talk about primers. The first primer that I chose is obviously the Tatcha Silk Canvas. The reason that I chose this, I've gone through 3 or 4 of these. They are a little pricier. This primer retails for like $55. The only reason I mention that is because I've gone through 3 of these in the past little over a year, using it every single day. You don't need a ton. It is phenomenal. This is probably the best primer I've ever used. I use it when I'm not wearing a lot of makeup. I use it when I'm wearing a full face of makeup. It just hydrates your skin. It is heavy. It is a very heavy primer. It works well for oily skin, I've heard, because I've seen tons of YouTubers using it who like say that they have oily skin. Me, with my dry skin, I love it. Sometimes we want that heavier primer. Sometimes we want that extra hydration and that extra like thick base to really like hydrate and penetrate the skin. That is the primer for you. My next primer is the Becca First Light Priming Filter, and this one is the Instant Complexion Refresh. The reason I went with this one is because I really like the Becca Backlit Primer. It kind of has the same consistency but does a different job. The Becca Backlit Primer gives you that glow, whereas this gives you some hydration but also a little bit of color correct. So if you have dry skin, you know that sometimes that comes with redness. Most of the time comes with redness. This is a purple base and it just kind of rubs into the skin and you have a little bit of that purple glow. Now obviously you can rub this in more, but you can kind of get the gist of it. Basically, how I would explain this is there's a little bit of a color corrector in it, helping your redness because of your dryness. There's also moisture in this. It's a very like hydrating feeling primer. So when you put it all over your face, your skin feels like you just put like a moisturizer on, but like a color tinted moisturizer to help combat your redness. So then when you go in with foundation, you just have that balance and you don't like really see redness come through your skin. This is the primer that I use today with this foundation. I have dry pouches that you can't really see. I have some up in here. I get a lot on my cheeks down here as well. You don't see it. The color's balanced out and my skin feels hydrated. Now let's talk about foundations. The first foundation I've talked about tons of times on my channel over the years, and that is the L'Oreal Lumi Foundation. This is the perfect finish for dry skin. If you like that glowy, dewy look, you don't need to set it. If you like that more matte look like myself, not matte, but like, I know this isn't going anywhere and I have to put powder on because I get creasing, it still looks good. So basically the reason that I love this foundation is I feel like I get the best coverage with it, like the most amount of coverage, and if I want, the least amount of coverage. It's super buildable. It's super dewy. It's just really good overall. It's a great summer foundation. It's a great winter foundation. Like I said, you can wear it dewy, you can wear it matte. It does not matter depending on how much you set it. It is how much shine you lose. I always set it, so I can't tell you what it's like if you don't set it. But overall, this is one of my favorite foundations. You can get it at a drugstore. Phenomenal. I think they have a last time I checked, don't hold me to this, last time I checked, I think they had like a decent color range. You can find this at any drugstore. You can find this at Ulta. You can find it online. But that is the Lumi foundation by L'Oreal. The next one's a little higher end foundation, and that is the Elizabeth Arden Flawless Finish Perfect Satin 24 Hours. This is the foundation that I have on right now. It is beautiful. Apply it with a sponge, damp beauty sponge, and it looks flawless. It just has that consistency that I don't really like applying it with a brush. I'm more of like a sponge girl when it comes to this. I'm in the shade 01 Alabaster. I don't know what the color range situation is on this, but it looks gorgeous on the skin. As you can see, like my face with this and the Becca primer looks so natural, but fully coveraged. It does not cling to your dry patches, so that's why I picked this as like a holy grail for dry skin. It does not cling to any dry patches, does not make you look cakey. It's just a beautiful finish all around. The next one is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick. I have talked about this, again, so many times. I've been using this foundation for the past couple of years, and I love it. This is definitely a more full coverage, like the, like the last two foundations. Pretty much all of them are full coverage. But this looks so good on dry skin. Again, it has that same kind of finish to it, and it comes in tons of different shades. Okay, so this one you can blend out with a brush. This is definitely a brush foundation, not really like a sponge foundation like the other two were. But overall, you get that beautiful flawless finish. None of it clings to dry patches. It's just a really good foundation to go to if you're dry, like crazy dry, dead of winter. Even if you're not totally dry, but you tend to like flake a little bit, even in the summer. This is a great year-round foundation, so I definitely check it out. You can find more shades, I believe, from Makeup Forever, like directly from them, because I didn't see the one shade. I believe it's this one, the Y215, because I have two different ones. But yeah, it's the Y215. I did not see at Sephora, but I found this at the Makeup Forever store. So you can check it out online, Sephora, and the Makeup Forever store. Now, when it comes to setting my foundation, yes, I use face powders and all that, but if I just want to quickly set myself or bake myself at that, I will never stop loving the RCMA translucent powder. I have said it before, I'll say it again, I put it in a different container because I think that the container that it comes in is just not really convenient for like what I'm trying to do. So I put it in this container. This is the best, and I think the only powder that I have like 6 different setting powders. This is the only one that I can bake with, and I don't look like a cake face. Like, it is flawless. I've used it on oily skin, I've used it on dry skin, combination, normal, all of the, even aging, and it looks phenomenal. But most importantly, dry skin. If you have dry skin and you are looking for a setting powder, RCMA translucent powder, it's like $12 for a big like thingy like this big, and oh my goodness, it will last you so long because you don't need that much, but it is phenomenal. And I think you can find it on a couple different distributors. Just type in RCMA translucent powder. Alright, the next couple products are some powder products. Somebody asked me about like good blushes and highlights and all that stuff for dry skin, so I'm giving it to you. First is blush. I do not buy a ton of different blushes. I most likely buy palettes, and I don't know, I'm just not like a crazy blush person, but the blush that I do love is the blush kit in Radiant from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love this because it's such a creamy blush, such a pigmented blush. You don't need a ton unless you want that full bright look, then dabble away. But you really don't need a ton of product. It blends really well. The reason I mention this with dry skin is because it will not cling to your dry patches. It will not like make you look cakey. It's a very blendable formula. That's why I kind of picked all these products that I'm going to show you, is because they're all very blendable and they're all very creamy. The next product is the Tantastic Bronzer by Marc Jacobs. I only got this in December, but I've used it every day since, and you cannot tell because it's so pigmented. You only need a little bit of it. It's definitely buildable, but it's not powdery. It blends seamlessly. Like, I have it on right now, and I really focus my bronzer like right in this area. And oh, I should have said I have the Radiant Blush Kit on as well. But you can just see how everything kind of blends and just looks so natural. It doesn't cling, like I said a million times before, to those dry patches. It just blends so well. It's more expensive, this product is, but definitely an amazing investment because it's going to last you a long time, and you know that the results are going to be good. Now, I do want to mention a bronzer that is on the lower end price point. That is the Maybelline City Bronzer. This is in the shade 200. I like this bronzer because it is creamy. When you feel it, it definitely has that creamy texture. It doesn't look too powdery on your skin. You don't need a ton of it to, get the results you are looking for. It's definitely buildable. The shade range is just not very good. I received this one from Influencer, and I even mentioned that when I reviewed the product for them. I just don't think they have enough shades. I think there's only like 3, and I'm the middle shade. So like that should tell you something. But if you are fair like me, this bronzer you won't really like because, like I said, it's super creamy and blendable. The next 2 are highlights. So the first one is the Anastasia Amrezy highlight. The reason I chose this one is because, again, it's very smooth with application. It doesn't look powdery on your skin. It just looks super smooth and natural, and it's crazy blinding. And honestly, I use this every day when I just throw on concealer and contour and then throw on a little bit of highlight. And I barely have put a dent in this. You can definitely see somewhere, but for how much I wear this, unbelievable. Like, truly crazy how it has not hit pan yet. And then my other ride or die, this one is more so for my dry skin fair gals. And that is the Ofra Cosmetics Nikkie Tutorials Glazed Donut. They have 3 different shades in this collection, and I have used the other shades like on clients that are a little darker than me and like really darker than me because there's 3 different shades. This one I have personal experience with, like on myself, and with my dry skin, this looks phenomenal. I have it on right now. Like I've said before, it's not powdery, it's not cakey, just blends seamlessly, gives you that good natural highlight, doesn't show up on bumps, like really doesn't accentuate that texture to your skin, especially dry patches. Yes, that's correct. It just looks flawless on your skin and so pigmented. Alright, now concealers. The 2 concealers that I'm going to talk about are kind of similar but very different in their own ways. So the first one is the Kylie Cosmetics concealer. I have to buy more of this because I'm literally out of it and have not ordered more, but it is flawless. This is definitely buildable. It can be full coverage if you put on like 2 layers of it. Like, put on a layer, blend it out, put on a layer, blend it out. You get a really full coverage look without being cakey. It doesn't crease terribly with me because of my lines that I have, like my natural lines. It sets in there, but you can blend it out and then set it, and you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, this just looks flawless on your skin any time of the year. And then the other one is the Morphe concealer. I should say the Kylie one is in shade Shell, and this one is C1.25. This is the one I used today. You definitely get a full coverage with this. You get a fuller coverage if you use a brush, but me personally, I think it looks more flawless when you use a sponge with it. It just doesn't give you any cakiness that doesn't need to be there. It can get cakey if you're using a lot and using a brush, because the brush doesn't really absorb it as much as the sponge does, but it is phenomenal. And they have tons of shades, which I'm very impressed with Morphe. When they released this, they released a ton of shades for any type of skin tone. So I really like this, and this is more of a universal one. Now we have two different lipsticks. The first one, now the shades don't even matter. Like, I'm just picked random shades. I'm more so talking about the formula with them. The first one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is actually the one I have on right now, and it's in the shade Lovely. So, if you want to know what that is, the reason I picked this formula is because it's a great matte liquid lipstick, but it's not too dry. I don't know about you, but when I'm really dry like I am right now, I have the worst dry patches on my Cupid's bow. The worst. Like, I look not well when I don't have a lip product on. But when I go to put on a lipstick, I don't want one that's overly drying and overly matte that will accentuate those dry patches. This Anastasia Beverly Hills formula does not. It gives great pigmentation. You don't need a ton of it to really get the job done. Once you line out your lips, you only need a little bit to fill in, and it is amazing. Tons of different shades. I know I've talked about Anastasia Beverly Hills lipsticks before, but this is one matte liquid lipstick that does not over dry you and make you look crusty. So that's why I picked this one. And then the next lipstick formula is the Kylie Cosmetics Cream and Velvet formula. I know I tried the Velvet, I just cannot find it anywhere in my drawer. But I wanted to mention it. This one is the cream one. This is definitely way more hydrating than the matte. If you have dry lips, do not go anywhere near Kylie Cosmetics matte lipsticks. You will look like a little crust ball. You don't want to do it. This is definitely a not long-lasting formula, but a hydrating formula, where the Velvet one is long-lasting and hydrating. So definitely check those out if you're looking for lipsticks that are really good, especially for in the winter when you get a little more dry. These will become your best friend. Alright guys, and that is it. I really hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any questions about any of the products, feel free to let me know down below. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button, hit the reminder bell so that you know when I upload videos, and please give this video a thumbs up. If you have not already, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see next. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye everyone.